So today's going to be a bit of a different one. It's going to be a Kickstarter campaign video, which is a bit weird, for us anyway, and that's Ethernia. And that is essentially a new card game coming out where it's not pay to win. You're thinking, wow, you know, how do you make money on a card game? So the idea for these guys is you'll buy the basic pack, and rarity cards will only come out during tournaments. So you'll go do what you're gonna do. So you'll pay your, say, $25, $30 for your seasonal pack. You'll play with those cards. You'll go to tournaments. You'll win, or you'll get like packs for entering. Those packs will then contain foil cards to some degree, and so forth and so on. So they've said basically, everyone knows that everyone likes doubling out their decks, but you know, you shouldn't be forced to pay out the eyes for these shiny cards, which is great. So the whole premise of Ethernia is a physical expendable battle card game, XCG for tabletop, inspired by MOBAs. It was created by Arif Lilith Games, ALG, and designed to be played by 2 players. MOBAs are multiplayer online battle arena games. Some popular MMOs, MOBAs are League of Legends and Dota 2. They are the biggest 2. If you think anything else is bigger than those 2, then you're either living in Korea and you're playing mobile games, or you don't know what MOBAs actually are, which is fine. But MOBAs are basically just team-based fighting games. Normally it's 5v5. Some modes are 3v3, 1v1, 2v2. But as a rule, standard MOBA format is 5v5. So I don't know if this is any different in the sense of, I presume you'll be playing 1v1, but you'll be playing it in a sort of a set row. So you'll be playing, you know, like, I think it's 3 heroes per deck. So you go from there. So two players build a deck of powerful champions and their Eternals, which are varying representations of these champions, each with a unique playstyle and game mechanics, battling across all of Ethernia, the centre of time, space, and dimensions. So, as we can see from how the writing is shaping out so far, you know, it's futuristic, which is fine. I like futuristic things. Do you like futuristic things? I like futuristic things. Along with champions in their Eternals, players tactfully supplement their decks with cunning snares to trap their opponents in their tracks, charms, powerful spells to turn the tides of battle, and items which provide resources and flexibility. Who are we? They're Arif Lily Games. They're an indie game development company. They're a team of passionate and experienced developers, artists, professionals, and creatives from all over the world. We love games so much that the name of our company and the CEO's daughters were inspired by Arif from Final Fantasy VII and their signature flowers. Now, I'm sure if you've been watching any of my videos, you heard me say Vincent. Vincent is inspired by Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII. So I also have a little understanding of their passion for this thing. It feels good to me. I like the fact that more people are on my side and we're all crazy together. We are located in Seattle, Washington, a state that is no stranger to video games and card games alike, including Magic the Gathering, Artifact, Pokemon, and Slay the Spire. Which, if we ignore Artifact, if I'm presuming that's the Steam game, we will ignore Artifact, because that is doo-doo. That is an absolute doo-doo game. We don't talk about Artifacts. We have been working on the design and development of Ethernia for over the past 4 years, so they've put some effort into it. I mean, Magic the Gathering was done basically within 6 months in someone's bedroom while they're playing D&D. So if you give it 4 years, you should, you know, have at least the basis spread out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we know what we're doing. And we are excited to share our vision with you today and in the future. What do we get? So you get a starter kit, Shadows of Judgment. We love keeping these things simple. For this release, we are offering the core set known as the 2020 Starter Kit, Shadows of Judgment. Cards are standard size, think Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. The starter kit includes 74 total cards. You can add an additional game to your pledge by adding another $25 per starter kit past the first one. So you get 3 unique champions, which is 9 cards total. You get 12 Eterniums. These are units you battle with in the game, 30 total cards. 8 different charms, snares, and items, 24 total cards. Ethereum stones, 10 total cards, and then 1 coin of eternity. 1 card. What do some of these cards look like? Well, here they go. So this is what they look like, if you can see. Can I drag over them? I can. This doesn't look too bad. I like these. I think these look really good. Don't know about anyone else. I quite like them. So yeah, we'll carry on. The biggest thing I'm going to bring up now is that they don't currently have plans to bring it to Europe because they're having issues finding a, for lack of a better phrasing, someone who's willing to do it for them. So they're a bit stuck there. I spoke to them myself last night, and they got back to me in the email very quickly. In all fairness, I think they came back to me within like 10 minutes of me sending an email, and essentially it was, "Good morning, Akita Swiftly Gaming. Yeah, we're bummed about this as well. Unfortunately, there are a lot of shippings and custom fees which don't create a good experience for us or for you guys across the pond," which is true. I would presume, you know, you're probably looking to basically, if you're going to put a $25, so £20-ish order onto the starter kit, you're probably looking at the same price, maybe even more, to bring it over to the UK. And if you're aware, any item over £15 in the UK has been for a long time, has a service charge for coming from across seas, which is really annoying. So if you've ever brought from Play Asia, you'll occasionally get a message from FedEx normally who goes like, "Hey, we're holding your item for you. You now owe us like £37 for this shipment." And it's like, the shipment cost me 16 quid. I'd rather you keep it and sell it on yourselves, and I'll just get something cheaper. It's a pain in the ass. But I exactly understand this problem. I understand this issue. You know, it's not a... You know, you have to understand, you know, they're an indie company. They don't have these big, massive overheads where they can go, "Yeah, just ship it in bulk." They can't do that. So but they have said, "We are working on finding a company that can manufacture the game in Europe, which solves this problem." That is great. I don't know who, because I would also love to figure out like who does the Pokemon stuff or like the magic in this side of Europe. So that'd be great. Ultimately, it's an uphill battle even to get the game going stateside. I totally understand that asking for $35,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, physically getting that money in your pocket to actually start doing things is hard. Like, you might think, oh, you know, that, you know, £35,000, you know, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Or some people might think that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're an indie developer and you spent 4 years working on something, possibly not getting paid, possibly just doing it essentially for the love of something, which normally what it is with indie devs, then, you know, it's what's going to happen. Like, you know, that's why I went to Kickstarter. They couldn't physically afford to do the game themselves. So, fingers crossed, in the last, like, 12 hours or so, since I first saw these guys, and since recording this video, it's basically doubled in their Kickstarter prices, so fingers crossed they will get it in stateside. But, let's carry on. It is our hope that we can focus on one market at a time. We want to make sure that the game has the best experience regardless of the location. We'd feel pretty crappy if we couldn't provide the same quality support for the game in every location we have, which is great, because as far as I think most people are aware, depending on where you live depends if the company cares. So, if you like Magic the Gathering, you'll generally find that England and Europe has a really hard time getting half the stuff that Magic throws out to its American fans, unless you're willing to pay like ridiculous amounts of money for it. If you live in China, yeah, we'll throw things at you, don't worry about it. You know, so it does depend. I mean, I'm glad I'm not Australian. Australians have it really bad, but we don't talk about that. It would blow if the US got access to all the cool foil cards and cash tournaments and you didn't get anything. Now, in all fairness, I don't think tournaments are massive in the EU as they are in, like, America. Because I literally hear, like, every single day, you know, we're having state regionals here, we're having East regionals here, we're having, like, store regionals here, we're doing store here, we're doing this there, we're doing that there. That's fine, because America has a lot of card stores. Whereas England doesn't. England probably has maybe like 20, 25 stores maybe in the whole of the country. Well, I feel like that's the case. Europe, I'd feel, is probably very similar because of how card games work in essentially. You know, for me growing up as a kid, back in like late 90s, early 2000s, you didn't go to a card shop. You went to like your local newspaper shop and you buy like a pack of cards, or you buy like 2 or 3 depending on how much pocket money you had that week. So, because baseball cards and that culture in America has been going for so long, it's more established. But yeah, we don't really get that in England, as I feel. There are a few good shops that do tournaments here. It's not me being like a grumpy monkey about it. It's more me sort of thinking the culture here is slower behind. Well, I understand. I just think that if they actually do get off the ground, and say America's like 6 months ahead of Europe, all you have to do then is basically just catch up Europe to America, so you can have all the same cards at the same time if possible. Because you don't want things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon where the formats are like literally a set behind, or there are a few sets behind. I mean, if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, there's cards that they've had in their format for like 4 to 5 years that we're only just getting in the next set that comes out in a Dual Overload. So, and some of those archetypes can't be used now because it's just so far gone before they got those cards. So it makes it awkward. I'm not saying anything negative against these guys. It's just, if they can get it off the ground, they need to just sort of catch it up if that's the case, if that's what they can do. Because I don't think I've seen anything how they want to do. I don't know if they want to do like this base set comes out, and then like in 6 months they do like set 1, and then in like a year's time they do set 2, or if they want to do it every 4 months, or if they want to do it every 3 months, or if they're going to do like one major set every year, and then like they'll do like 2 side sets every year. So I mean, if they do get their feet off the ground, which I'm hoping they do, I'm hoping they make double what they've asked for, maybe even triple, just so they can actually do this, what they've envisioned. We can go from there. Anyway, back to the email. Our business model isn't about making a lot of money by throwing our players under the bus, hence the standpoint of being anti-pay to win, which is great. I've said to my wife literally last night, before I even saw this, Yu-Gi-Oh is a great card game if you have a lot of money to throw at it. Because your average player who wants to actually play the game can't afford to spend like $500 on a playset of like Lightning Storms. Can't spend £300 on a playset of Lightning Storms. Can't physically afford to pay £200 for a set of Extravagance. You know, it's not about, oh, you're not dedicated enough. It's like people have real lives. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, for the majority of people, is like that thing you do once a week. In America especially, you go to your locals, you have a few games, you might win the tournament that 1 week. You know, you get a few extra packs for like your $7 or your $5, whatever it is, or whatever you pay for. You know, it's a bit of fun. It's basically like, instead of going to a club or going to the pub, you'll go and do that for the night. That's your like weekly enjoyment. But if you're having to spend like $500, $600, $700, $800 or pounds on a deck just to make it work, just to make it a good deck, then it's not a hobby. You know, that's basically all your yearly sort of like spare money going into that. I mean, not for me personally, but I know a few people who try to do things like this, and basically all their spare cash goes into like games, and yeah, they don't have much of a life because they just spend it on card games or spend it on video games. Well, loot boxes. Anyway, so he hopes this answers the questions, and I hope you understand. I personally understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. Like, the overhead of shipping is ridiculous. You'd basically have to double charge us, which I think would be the case. Especially for some of those higher tiers, the ones with all the full metal cards, which I don't think he has any on show, but they sound really cool. You get if you're a higher tier, you get a playmat with the cool, sexy samurai Gent lady. She looks cool. You get her in a Game Boy with a PSP. I believe they're sleeves. Looks really cool. Oh wait, no, they do have a full metal one on their what's it called? Their Kickstarter. So I'll link that to I'll link the Kickstarter anyway. But it's a thick piece of metal. It's yeah, you can't put that in a deck. It looks good. It looks good though. They do look good. If you hit another T, you get the shirt. You know, it's good. It looks really good. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it does well. I hope we can bring it to the EU. I hope we can just enjoy it together. This is Gizo Swiftly signing out for today. Thank you for your time. I know that it's been a long-winded one. I love card games. I love video games. I love pastimes that are fun for me. I even got my stepson last night to say he wants to play Final Fantasy VII. That's great for me. That's something I feel passionate about. Making poor kids nerdy. But that's it for me. Thank you for listening, and hopefully we can play it together in the future. Goodbye for now. Peace.